Welcome back. Well, now we gotta figure out what's going on here. So let's see if this dude can give us some info.
What do you need with an old space hound like me? I have an idea of what this might be. Maybe. I saw something like this once before, when I was out beyond the Eridon belt. We responded to a distress call from a mining outpost. When we got there, all the people were just gone, vanished without a trace. The only things we found were a strange beacon and some odd spore samples. These look very similar. Good idea. When we ran into something like this before, we were able to stop the spores from reproducing by bombarding them with tachyons. We have the equipment here to replicate that procedure.
Some missions in Star Trek Online will change based on your career track. Engineering, science, or tactical.
Oh, that's cool. So each one has something to do. I like that. Now, I wonder if these storylines have any correlation to the TV shows. Now I'm curious.
I've only seen fungal biotech like this once before. Remember that mining station that I mentioned? Before we arrived, they reported several disappearances. Some thought it was paranoia, but we had reports that said intruders would beam in right through the colony's magnetic shield, right into someone's quarters, sedate them, and then vanish without a trace. We didn't know what to believe, but I don't think those miners were paranoid. Something did happen to them, and it could happen again. That's what my commander believed. We found a beacon with almost the same configuration as the one you found. We weren't able to get much from it before we shut it down, but the one thing we learned is that the beacon was made by a race that called themselves the Elachi. We stayed in orbit for a few days, but the Elachi never came back. That's good news for us, seeing that you disabled the beacon you found in the caverns. That's right. He's the man in charge, so he needs to know. I'd be surprised if he doesn't want to send someone down there to analyze that beacon. Could be these Elachi were interested in our colony for some reason. Lucky for us, you were there to put a stop to whatever they were trying to do.
Why does the Elachi sound familiar? Now I'm gonna have to do some research, and that's a good thing. When a game can prompt you, the story actually prompts you to do outside of game actions. Yeah, I'm definitely getting sucked up in this storyline. Give me more info.
Jolan True. I heard Avrak yelling all the way over here. I'm sorry you had to deal with his problems on our day of celebration. That does sound very mysterious. However, you seem to have taken care of the immediate problem, disabling this beacon and dispatching the drones. You have my thanks. I'll assign some engineers to examine the device and set up surveillance on the cave as soon as possible. If what Devek says is true, we don't want that beacon turned on again. Now that's settled, why don't you try to relax for a while? Enjoy the festival. We'll talk again tomorrow after the engineers have finished their analysis of the device.
He sure is very calm about this. Now I'm suspicious. I'm very suspicious.
Hey there, ready for the big festival? Working hard?
Contact Tovan
Or maybe
Kev
you have
by
time to
clicking
listen
on
to
the
a
Hail
story or
Tovan
two?
Kev button.
Really? That sounds like a new story in the making. The mystery of the Kellids, or perhaps the Kellid conundrum. I'll have to think about it. We should talk more about it during the festival. Do you want to hear a story or two? Almost 2,000 years ago, our people were Vulcans. At that time, Vulcan was a world of war, with constant struggles between the tribes. Serac changed that. He taught that peace came through logic. And if you ask me, not all Vulcans get that right. Serac said that people should master their emotions, not eliminate them. But not everyone on Vulcan wanted to give up love, or passion, or even anger. The Vulcans said these people marched beneath the Raptor's wings. Instead of fighting their own people, these Vulcans decided to leave in an event we call the Sundering. They boarded great colony ships and set out into unexplored space, looking for a home where they could live and feel as they wished. Eventually, those who marched beneath the Raptor's wings found Romulus and Remus. They created an empire. Although we share a genetic bond with the Vulcans, we are our own people. Never forget that. Want to hear another story? The destruction of Romulus was a terrible thing. We lost our home and our loved ones. We lost our soul. The people who survived were scattered and leaderless. Survival was a daily struggle. There were some fights for control before Empress Sela took over, but I never paid much attention. That Taurus woman was never going to get far. Now Sela and the Tal Shiar are attempting to rebuild the strength of the Romulan Star Empire, but they do so with fear and oppression. Steer clear of them if you can. People like us should just try to stay out of the Tal Shiar's way. Life is more important than politics or power. There are a lot of Romulans who just wander from planet to planet because there's no place to call home anymore. We're lucky to have Viranat. This is a good place. A place to put down roots. Without that, we're just dust, scattered by the winds of fate. Do you want to hear another story? Viranat was a colony world. It used to be a big agricultural planet, growing food for the Empire. After Romulus was destroyed, thousands upon thousands of people flooded the planet. The old cities couldn't hold them all, and they were scared. They started fighting amongst themselves. One night, the cities burned. Most of the survivors left. A few hung on, scrapping old ships and using them as building materials. That's how the Maori found them, about 10 years ago. The Maori was the commander of an old warbird. Navala was his first officer, and Devex the chief engineer. They were wandering the sector, trying to find a new home. When they found Viranat, they decided to stay. Devex kept the old warbird functional, and he used it to make supply runs and bring back other Romulans who needed a home. Navala put herself in charge of security, and the Maori. He runs the whole colony now. Devex met Tovan Kev in a mining colony a few years back. I think it was 4 years ago. But then again, I didn't come here until 2 years ago, so this is not just information I've heard about secondhand. I actually have a question for you, if you don't want to hear another story first. When did you arrive here? I know we only have a few hundred people living here, but so many come and go that it's hard to keep track. I'm recording the stories of all the people that live here, you see. And I would love to start yours off with your arrival. Who knows? It could be something that becomes historical in a few years. Barely a year. That's right, you're one of the newer folk. And you're already a security guard. Lucky you. We should definitely talk more about this over drinks tonight.
Wow, she had a lot to say, didn't she? But I'm wondering when the game is set versus all the other Star Trek stories. My curiosity.
Are you done for the day? I'm just finishing up too. I'm going to head back to the restaurant. Meet me for a drink when you're done. Hey there. Long day? I can't believe how far this colony has come. Just look at how much we can accomplish without being ruled by the Tal Shiar. Word is someone named Atan is trying to fight them, but me, I'm content with what we have here. Let's go enjoy the festival.
Friends and neighbors, welcome to the tapping. The Kellet nectar has been harvested, the ale is brewed, and we can finally taste the fruits of our labors. And like this fine vintage, our colony has taken time and effort to develop. Since the loss of the homeworld 22 years ago, we have known fear, hunger, and pain. We have struggled. We have overcome every difficulty. We have mourned those who are no longer with us, and we have welcomed new friends into our home. And now we celebrate. The trials are behind us. Virinat is prosperous and growing. We will face new challenges in the future, but we will face them together.
Safety as you can. After that, we stop whoever or whatever is attacking our home.
I was just sitting here thinking, I used to enjoy watching the Captain Kirk Star Trek series, and it's been a long time since I've watched one. But a common theme in those is that they would go to a place, a planet, whatever, and it would be beautiful. But it was never the way, sort of like don't judge a book by its cover, because that underneath that beauty was something sinister or evil or not right, and they ended up having to resolve the issue, but not before Captain Kirk kissed a couple of chicks in them thing. But I was just thinking, they kept focusing on how prosperous they were and successful and how far they've come, and I was just sitting here thinking, it's like, well, this is not gonna last, because you know, it's too happy, it's too good. So I'm wondering, being if this actually happened in the series, or you know, not necessarily the original Star Trek, but one of the you know, the offsprouts from it. And now I feel like I want to go and look at the other of the old series again. That happened with Doctor Who. I saw a teaser for the 50th and ended up watching Doctor Who again, catching up on the episodes that I missed, which are quite a few. But yeah, I could definitely see myself doing that, because I'm very curious. The Elachi, that sounds familiar to me, but I can't place it, because it's been so long since I've watched anything related to Star Trek. So yeah, I'm probably going to end up doing that. And so far I'm enjoying the game. I see that it does have ground combat. I thought that it had a mixture between ground and space. I like that. So now I'm curious. Well, so what are we gonna do? Rebuild this place, or are we going someplace new? I wonder what's does this have anything to do with the bugs?
The shuttle is ready, and I got as many people aboard as will fit. We have to go.
Congratulations, citizen.
Well, that answered that. I guess we're going. This is a good place to pause, and I will see you guys in the next one.